I've only recently switched over to the Galaxy S10e as my primary Android phone. It's still a very fresh phone to me, but last week the P30 and the P30 Pro came out from Huawei and I thought I'd give them a run. Now, just right off the bat, I have a strong preference for the P30 over the P30 Pro. There's just a bunch of reasons. I'll go through them. The big one for me is size. Obviously, if you've seen my channel, I like smaller phones, but it's also like the flat screen. I've mentioned before in the past how Samsung's curved edges on their phones is not something that I find particularly useful. Very beautiful to look at, but they're just like ergonomically strange to me. And the curve on the P30 Pro, it's even more pronounced. It's just not a comfortable phone for me, so I like the flat screen of the P30 more than the Pro. And finally, it's the headphone jack. I'm someone that still values the analog headphone jack. I feel like a lot of people don't care about it at this point, but I just have a lot of regular headphones that I use, and I like the headphone jack. Okay. Camera-wise, these are both fantastic cameras. For the people that are interested in the 50 times zoom on the P30 Pro, it's a cool feature, but it borders on gimmicky. Like, there's just so little real-world use for it. I feel like for most people, I know for myself, I would never use that thing outside of like the first couple of days to see how cool it is. It's just, it's cool, but it's, you know what I'm talking about, all right? P30, however, has a fantastic camera. They both have fantastic cameras, but the night mode, it's unbelievable. It's essentially night vision. Like, it'll capture usable images when it looks completely dark to my eye. It takes a few seconds to capture the image, like any phone doing a dedicated night shot, but it's honestly impressive, and it produces better results than the competitors. The regular low light photos, so that's just like auto mode in lower light, but not pitch black, those are also very good, but I don't think it stands out as far ahead from the competition. If anything, I'd say that the Pixel 3 has slightly cleaner photos when you're just doing auto mode, but the P30 phones have excellent cameras all around. One thing I did notice in terms of the camera, it's not so much a camera for stills, but for video, and you'll see it in other videos where the image looks a little pink, like particular skin tones, they just look very red or pink, and I just have like a theory on that. These phones were made by Huawei, a Chinese company, and I think the majority of the people buying these phones are gonna be from China. And there's a thing about skin tone, like, so I'm Asian, I have Asian descent, and I have like yellowish skin, and so when I shoot my videos, I have to color correct them in a way so that they have like more of a pinkish hue to it. So when I look at my video footage from these cameras, it looks pinker than normal, but it looks good to me, and it's maybe because of my skin tone, I'm not entirely sure, but so I did a video with Lou from Unbox Therapy. Wow, I almost forgot his channel name. And on his set, I look really yellow. Like, his skin looks normal, but I look like I'm from The Simpsons. So I thought maybe it's possible that Huawei's using this kind of color tint or color grading on their video footage to make Asian people look more natural. I'm not entirely sure, but I actually look at this video footage and I'm okay with it. Now, video is not this camera's strong point. It's definitely stills. Like, it's phenomenal for stills, but just throwing that theory out there. Oh, fingerprint sensor. I don't like the optical fingerprint sensor on these phones. I prefer the ultrasonic on Samsung's phones, and I actually prefer capacitive sensors over any of these in-display sensors, but I definitely prefer the ultrasonic on the Samsung over the optical on the P30s. Software-wise, I don't love EMUI. It's been like this every year. There's just something about the software that feels a little bit glitchy, a little bit unrefined. It's something that maybe people love, but I just use this thing for a few days and I immediately remind myself of why I don't love EMUI, but you can always throw a skin on this thing. The speaker quality on the P30 phones are also surprisingly mediocre. They sound very muffled. I'm not sure if it's something they can fix with software, but both of these phones, I remember the P20 Pro from last year had better sounding speakers than both of these. That's just my memory of it. These sound quite muted, and they also don't have stereo speakers like the S10 devices have. Also, if you're from the US and you want to purchase this thing overseas, understand that there's probably no warranty if you're from the US because these things are not allowed to be sold there. Now, the reason why I made this video was kind of to help people decide between the two phones. Like, if you're gonna get a S10 or like one of the Galaxy S10 or S10e or S10 Plus devices, or one of these new P30 devices. Now, on paper, these phones are like, they're amazing. They're similarly priced, but the Huawei phones, because it has such an amazing camera, it would seem that this would be the phone to get. But there's something about the Galaxy phones this year that just make them feel like a better phone overall. Maybe I like the OLED punch out on the screen better. Maybe I like the software a little bit better. It's a little bit more refined than the EMUI version that we're getting on the P30 phones. I don't know. They're great on paper. Those cameras are crazy good, but I still have preference for the S10s. So I guess the takeaway here is if you're interested in one of these phones, either the Samsung phones or the Huawei phones, take a look at the feature that you're drawn to and think, is it something I would use regularly, frequently, or is it something that a company is trying to sell me?